If you were to ask me what the worst show I watched for this month was, Ultimate Otaku Teacher would certainly be up there. From the get-go, this show was just a pile of slobbing dribble meant to inspire whatever lessons it tried churning out. But they only crash and burn by way of the show's inherent nature of not truly understanding the meanings behind those messages. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at the story first. Kagami's an otaku, a full-blown, stay-in-his-room-all-day anime reviewing nerd who really has nothing better to do with his life. Sounds familiar. Anyway, he's forced to take a teaching position at his little sister's school where he meets rapscallions, outcasts, and listless students who need his wise, albeit unusual advice. And from there, you can probably guess how the rest of the story goes. In the same vein as shows like Great Teacher Onizuka or Negima, Ultimate Otaku Teacher falls into that odd subgenre of oddball teacher and the oddball teachings, the show. And like GTO and Negima, this show does pass as a decent 2003 anime. There's just one small problem. It was made in 2015. The show was dated the moment it released. There was just an insurmountable amount of issues just within the first episode, from the janky animation, to the obnoxious acting, to jolted writing, to the skeevy lessons. It's a lot like Alpha Lead from the last review I did, but at least Alpha Lead had the excuse of actually being made in 2004. These problems are just too prominent to stand as a good or even passable show in 2015. And yeah, I know there have been worse shows in 2015 and since then, but it's the uninspired writing and lack of creativity with this type of tale in particular that makes it dull. Earlier that year, another weird sensei class anime premiered, Assassination Classroom, but the difference is that Assassination Classroom not only had the heart and writing to back it up, it was just a genuinely charming tale on its own. This show is half-heartedly put together with faux charm in its BS lessons. I think the main issue, however, is the otaku teacher himself and all that surrounds him. With characters like Onizuka, Negima, and Koro Sensei, not only do they have to teach life lessons to their students, but they themselves need to be fleshed out beyond the job, what it means to be a teacher and where their true calling lies. It can be in saving the world or to simply be the best teacher they can be. With Kagami, there is no bigger purpose. He's two-dimensional when it comes to his personality, his lessons, his end goal. Now that's not the main issue with him. I think a two-dimensional character in his position can work. It did with Negima because Negima matured into his role as well as had a decent supporting cast and a clear goal. But with Kagami, there's none of that. His supposed charisma comes off as a preachy asshole and has no other traits except for a cool nerd who knows everything about teaching life lessons because he watches anime. The lessons the main character teaches are hypocritical, confused, or straight up bad examples because they are taken from an arguably unhealthy lifestyle. Don't get me wrong, absorbing wisdom from media can be a good thing, but it's employed in a boring and even kind of shitty manner here. Take the first episode for instance, where Kagami makes examples of bullies, by doxing all of their information online and streaming the humiliation. Look, whether or not this is justified is debatable. It's the fact that this man has a position of power, one to nurture kids for that matter, and blatantly abuses it to potentially ruin lives. That's messed up. I'm not saying there's an easy solution to this, but if any teacher in real life did this, they'd be sued out their ass. Rightfully so too. The kids that are being taught are very one-dimensional and forgettable, and the only trait the sister has is as the brother's foil. The animation is garbage. Underlined faces, uncreative styles, a passive imprint, and so many colors, like it's trying to get your attention in an undeserving way. And again, it all centers on the circle jerker of this one dickwit who knows no boundaries, who has no place anywhere near school. The story's uninspired, characters are cardboard, music isn't even worth mentioning, and animation is worse than the below standard. Just do yourself a favor and skip this class.